Wagwan people, Andre Barrett here, and I've just arrived here at Stansted Airport after being massively delayed by my barber who was taking forever to cut my hair. I actually thought I was going to miss the flight, but I managed to get here in the nick of time. But ooh-wee, that was a close shave. So I've gone through checkout and I'm just sitting here, got a few minutes before I board the flight. EasyJet, and some of you clever people would have worked out by now that Stansted Airport doesn't actually fly to the Caribbean or the Americas, so I won't be going to the Caribbean, and especially EasyJet as well does not fly anywhere near those destinations. The destination I'm actually going to it's the first time I'm going here actually. I've been to about 17 countries before in the past, and I wouldn't describe myself as an aggressive traveller, but I do love a good holiday. So I'm about to board this flight, and I'm super excited. I'm not gonna lie, I do like to travel. I've traveled many times before in the past, and yeah, this is a brand new country for me, so a brand new experience. I remember the first time I actually boarded a flight actually. I must have been around age 5, and I don't know if you remember the first time you ever got on a plane, but you know, there's kind of all this excitement mixed with a little bit of nervousness. And the time that I got on the plane I was actually traveling alone, because this was the time that I was moving from the paradise island of Jamaica to England to live with my mother. And it's kind of sad actually, because I remember being at the airport in Kingston saying goodbye to my father and not actually realizing at that time that I wouldn't see him again for another 7 years. But I think I was, you know, super young, so I didn't really understand what was going on. I just kind of knew I was going to a foreign country, and you know, I was excited by that. So I get on this plane, and you kind of have to remember this time there was kind of like, you know, no Game Boys, no iPads, so I can't even imagine what I did for 8 hours of this journey. I don't remember being bored, but I must have just sat there kind of like by myself. And I finally arrive to London, England. I get off the plane, and I'll never forget this, because you know what it's like when you get off the plane, right? What's the first thing you kind of need to do? You need to go to the toilet, because if you're anything like me, you don't really like using airplane toilets. So I'm bursting to go to the loo. So I find an attendant, and you know, I say to them, "I will go on, officer. I went to the toilet there." And the guy looks at me, and Lord knows what was going through his head. But he must have been thinking something like, what the hell did this little kid just say to me? And I'm there thinking, well, this guy's not answering me. I mean, what the hell's wrong with him? Does he not speak English or something? And it was kind of in that moment I realized I am in a completely foreign country where no one speaks my language. And I don't remember exactly how I managed to find my way to the toilet, but obviously I go to the toilet and I come out at arrivals. There's my mother and my auntie to greet me, and I'm happy. I'm kind of you know, excited to see them. So my auntie lives in Croydon, so we kind of go to Croydon before we end up in Wellingborough, where I was going to be spending the next kind of, you know, 13, 14, 15 years of my life. But you know, we go to Croydon, and I go to sleep. The next morning I wake up, and of course I'm super excited, because this is my first full day in a foreign country. My auntie then says to me, "Andre, do you want breakfast?" And of course I'm like, ooh wee. So she prepares this breakfast and she puts it in front of me, and I'm there looking at this breakfast, and I'm super disappointed, because I don't know if you know anything about a Jamaican breakfast, but it's usually like hot and freshly prepared. things like akin saltfish, boiled banana, fried dumpling, callaloo. It's just like a freshly prepared hot breakfast, and coming from Jamaica, that's what I was used to. So when she puts this bowl of cereal in front of me, I'm super disappointed, and I just don't know what to do because I don't want to eat it. And my auntie looks at me and she can see the disappointment in my face, so she says to me, "Andre, what's wrong?" And then I look up at my auntie and I say to her, "And a breakfast that." Now, for those of you that don't understand Jamaican patois, this is pretty much the translation. What the hell is this? This is not breakfast. And so for years afterwards, my auntie used to tell me this story, and she'd just crack up laughing every time she told it, because there was this fresh Jamaican kid, like just got off a plane and didn't understand that an English breakfast is not necessarily a hot, freshly prepared one, right? It does include things like cereal. And I guess the reason why I'm kind of sharing these stories with you is because I need you to understand, people, the Queen's English is not my first language. In fact, I really struggled with English at school. I mean, for the first few years after I arrived, I was pretty much picked on. Kids, being kids, they made fun of me. And I guess it developed a fear in me of communicating, a fear that, if I communicated, people wouldn't actually understand me, a fear that if I communicated, people actually wouldn't like what I had to say. And although I've kind of, overcome these fears to now try and write this book, I'm not going to lie to you, those demons probably still exist within me, where I'm thinking, what if people don't actually understand what I'm going to write about, and what if people don't like what I'm going to write? So this is obviously some of the demons that I'm going to have to overcome as I write this book. But I just wanted to share that with you, and I will reveal my holiday destination when I get to the other side. So stay tuned for that. For now, peace out.